Yeah, so welcome everybody. So good to have you all here. On behalf of myself, Jenny, and Dira, welcome, welcome. It's just a little meeting about just what's happening, simplicity of what is. So it's not a doing, it's not a getting, it's not a becoming. It's a recognition of what was already so, but just wasn't noticed. And this is an open meeting. Everybody's invited to participate. If you have a comment or question, please feel free to jump in. What's
My son's just back from he's been away for 10 months. He's been in New Zealand and Vietnam and yeah, he's been all over and he's just got back this week. So I got a message a little while ago. Are you in? I was like, yeah. And he said, is the door open? I was like, the keys are there. And he's just come into I've got a little studio. So he just come into the studio, not knowing I was here. He's like, oh and he's backed away really quickly, bless him. But it's good
Mhm.
to have him home. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to thank Michael and Dira and Jenny for those little direct clips that you have on the internet. It just brings you right home.
Yay!
yeah,
Yeah,
the home you never left.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Thank you.
Even Leela's readings and stuff like that that Michael does and other people. It's just it kind of warms your heart because it's right here, right now, and sometimes you forget. Your attention gets distracted with this and
Mhm.
that, and it just it's nice to open the door and come right in.
Yay.
Well, we're
That
thankful for you and all your shares, Manny,
Oh,
because
I know.
when you share, it brings me, even though I'm already here, we're already here, it's the same for me as well when you share.
Hmm.
the little yay that brings every time. It's just like a cascade of wonder. Yeah.
Yay!
It's so cool. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I always tell Jenny she reminds me of sunshine.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I woke up Thursday morning. I got some headphones on because my grandson was snuffling, so he was snoring, and I thought, oh, I'll just put these on, and then I could hear this noise. I thought, what's that? What's that? I took them off, and he's on his bed, and he's shouting and crying, Grandpa, Grandpa. I was like, what? And he's, I've got a nosebleed. You're sleeping through my nosebleed. I was like, well, it's a bad one, and it was a really bad one. He'd been picking his nose, and he'd got blood. There's blood, literally. It's like Holocaust, blood everywhere. It's like, oh no! And then I was like, okay, and he was really panicking over it. And I said, just pause the VR for a moment. You'll be fine. And he said, it's not funny.
Not funny.
Pause the VR, is that what you said?
Yeah, because he
That's
understands
awesome.
it. Yeah.
I love it.
We'd said it we'd literally been talking about on the day before. Well, I can't remember what he did. I said, but did you pause the VR? And he says, no, I just didn't know it was working. He was so engrossed in doing something. He was just, he was the unspeakable in that moment,
That's so cool.
Just, yeah.
Yeah, I love the analogy of the VR. It's one of the biggest clues to me. It's like you are God wearing the VR, formless, infinite, pure consciousness, looking through the VR, giving rise to it, making it appear to exist, imagining it, dreaming it. And then you get lost, identified as being the avatar, which is then you're the one wearing the headset, desperately looking for yourself in the VR as the one already wearing the headset. So it's very simple. You just turn around and look at what's looking. You turn around and inquire into what is experiencing this. And it's a direct experience of yourself as God, as the absolute. And then you can see that you're dreaming yourself as all of this because you're singular, you're infinite, you're formless, you don't have qualities. So then you imagine yourself as, as qualities, which is all a mental projection. It's all mental because there are no objects, there's nothing physical. But you imagine yourself as what you're not so that you can recognize yourself as infinite and formless. So then it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Because how else could you have recognized yourself? How else could you perceive yourself? You'd have to project yourself as a illusory, finite mind to experience yourself to. And so I can feel myself as the infinite through feeling. I can taste myself as the infinite in every flavor. I can see myself as the infinite in every appearance. I can hear myself as the infinite in every sound. And so that's the tantric quality of this. It's you are everything. You are projecting yourself, imagining yourself, dreaming yourself as everything.
I said to my son earlier, I said, every time you look in the mirror, I said, you see that reflection? And he says, yeah. I said, that's you dreaming that you're here.
Yeah.
He was looking at me going, oh, I'm not sure I like that. I says, yeah. I says, that's what's real. The reflection is real. And it says, what qualities? What does it do on its own? What is it? What is the reflection? I said, try and describe that, give that meaning, and you can't. And it was just like, whoa. Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's like that. Michael, you said it once. I think it was a cup, and you said that there's no back to the cup. And it's like, yeah, that's like a logic string in the program. It's if front, then back.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't exist. It's just, we're like a predictive tool for about 51% of what we see, feel, hear, It's just being predicted to exist,
Yeah.
conceptually, when it isn't there.
Yeah, that was one
Oh,
of my first, like, I wrote a blog like 14 years ago about this. I was standing over there in my kitchen and I was looking at the refrigerator. And I suddenly noticed that I saw the front of the refrigerator, some of the side, and a little of the top, and that was all. I never saw the whole refrigerator. And then I started looking around at all the different objects, and I realized that was true for every single object,
Mm-hmm.
including your body. You never see any object in its entirety from all angles.
mhm.
Yeah, an abstraction of the imagination, which apply that to the world, apply that to everything. It's all imaginary. And there is nothing physical. There is nothing solid. Like holding a teacup, you know, feeling solid is feeling, is sensation, is sense of touch, which is sense perception, which is awareness. And then there's seeing the cup, which is sense perception, which is awareness. So all there is awareness. There's actually no objects. There's nothing physical. There's not coming in contact with any kind of object or so experience is awareness.
Harvey, hey, whenever I see you, I think of university things like how we also aren't ever touching anything ever on an atomic level, right?
Right.
I'm
There's
talking
nothing.
about.
Yeah, there's nobody to touch it.
That too. That
Touch.
too.
It's
Yeah,
all
it's cool. It parallels, kind of.
yeah.
One time I took a whole lot of acid and I realized this before, and I realized, and I wrote down a question to ask myself, who am I? And then in that moment, it instantly was like so apparent, like, duh. First of all, it's just like empty space. And then this big, massive wad of atoms that thinks it's like separate and has a name and shit. It's just like,
Well, I have
you go, Dad. Ah, no.
once when I was taking acid. So this is for real. So at one point after all the peak experience and all that part, and then towards maybe the seventh hour of it, when you're sort of thinking you're coming down, and then all of a sudden everything just there was no thinking, there was no question, there was just exactly what there was, just unfolding. But even ask a question or anything, not even possible. The obviousness of of the isness of everything. It was complete just as it was. So, so every acid experience is I highly recommend
Yeah.
it.
Yay. I hear is just of mushrooms too. It can be
Well,
very obvious.
right. When I've
But
done
also,
shrooms, you just laugh.
yeah. But also, even you don't even need acid or mushrooms. Just ask the question, "Am I aware?"
Mm.
And then there's no mind. And then awareness turns back around and projects the mind to conceptualize itself and answers the question, yes. So to conceptualize itself projects the mind to experience and interact.
Jenny, in one of an old video that Rupert Spira made, he actually talks about that question, am I aware? And he said, when you ask people, am I aware? Their first answer is of what? Am I aware of the table? And I said, yeah, am I aware of this? And he'll go, yeah. But then when he
Hmm.
said, am I aware? Everyone's like, oh, what? What? Like aware of what? And then all they can do is just look back at the awareness and notice that they're aware of being aware.
Hmm.
And and which is a good way of saying that we talk about awareness in terms of what we're aware of very often, but there really isn't an inquiry into what are we really talking about when we use the word aware or
Mm-hmm.
consciousness or gravity or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're so conditioned to go to whatever the issue seems to be. So if we're depressed, the mind tends to focus on the depression. Oh, I'm so depressed. When's this going to end? Rather than, how do you know you're depressed?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like before you even go get into the story about the depression and how awful it is, how are you even aware there's something called depression?
It's so amazing too. Like illusion cannot hold up to awareness. If you are even on the sensation of depression, if you're fully aware of it without thought, it dissolves instantly. You can't hold anything there. You can't try to hold on to a thought or a sensation or a feeling or anything. When you're fully present, basically being it, you dissolve it. You,
When we use the word depression, we've already abstracted away from it. What I mean is, because if you really say, well, what is that? What is it? Like, what's here? And people go, well, depression. But that's just a word that doesn't really tell us, it doesn't tell the person what's really going on. It's like saying, it's like, if you really ask them, they'll say, "Well, maybe I feel my face is tight or my stomach is this or that," because the word depression is a convenient way of just throwing a word out, and yet it's not telling us anything about what's really going on.
mm-hmm,
Mhm.
Does any word?
No, but there sometimes the words could be a little bit closer,
Mm.
um, but very often I'll ask people, okay, you're this or that. What's really happening? Or they'll say, I'm not feeling good. But what's really going on? What's going on in the body? What's experiencing? It's still words, but it's maybe in a way closer to to what is actually happening for the person rather than them just throwing out an abstraction.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
mm-hmm,
And also a good question to ask if you can. Sometimes you're so depressed you can't even get any space, but if what is it made of? What is
Yeah.
depression made of? Is a completely different angle of hitting it rather than why am I depressed? When's it going to leave? Why is this always happening to me? Because that's like an eddy, like a mind thought eddy that's just swirling in a circle. But
mm-hmm,
what is it actually made of?
That's a very good point because it allows the person to kind of step back from that loop of I'm depressed, and all of a sudden go, "Oh, wait, what is it? Um, you
mm-hmm,
know, what's really happening here?" And that's actually a healthy thing to do. It's a very good suggestion to get them away from them saying, I'm depressed, because people do that all the time.
Mm. What helps me is that even what Nisargadatta said, stay with the I am, everything after that is an attribute. It's the depression. Am I this? Am I that? So
mm-hmm,
stay with the I am, or stay with there's a awareness here, or
mm-hmm,
a noticing here. And then the other stuff is just the ego kind of trying to claim whatever's going on, and then it falls into the emotional drama of the story. And it just kind of, but it's all consciousness. It
mm-hmm.
would exist without the consciousness.
Yeah.
So it doesn't need to be
Mm-hmm. It's aware.
demolished.
Yeah, it's awareness that never gets depressed, aware of a sensation.
Yeah, yeah,
And so, if I were to give it a word, I for depression, I would say resistance, because when there's no
yeah.
resistance, there's happiness. So when you feel it fully, when you're aware of that sensation without thought, it dissolves. And so when you resist it, it persists, it stays there.
Mm,
So if you can stay depressed by resisting it, resisting the feeling and the sensation. But if you welcome it, if you're aware of it or witness the sensation, you see yourself as the absolute, and then it integrates, it dissolves.
Yeah, well said. I was just gonna say that, Ginny. So Wednesday night I was sharing about some emotions that wasn't a couple weeks ago, it was about 2 months ago. And then there was like a 3-day span where it felt like depression, and a lot of it was resistance. There was resistance coming up. There was a story arising. It was emotion, grief, grief, letting go. I don't know. I don't remember the whole story, but I can remember those three things. The resistance was going on and the story was going on. No wonder it felt depressing, but
Mhm.
it was just a lot of suffering, or it felt like suffering. But the ironic thing about those 3 days was that even though there was the resistance and then the stories, there was more of an attention to the body and just letting it just be, just cry, just there was
Mhm.
more movement to let that happen. And it didn't feel good. It never does feel good in that kind of moment. And it's not supposed to feel good, but the mind says it shouldn't. It's the mind will resist that and say that I shouldn't be feeling that way, you
Mhm.
know. And so that's where the suffering comes in. Um, but I have to say that during those 3 days, it felt very painful because it was coming because whatever needed to come up, it needed to be seen, it needed to be felt. And for a long time there was so much avoidance of that. And then you know what, the next several days it was fine, it was as if it never happened. But I find that the more that I am putting attention on resistance, it shouldn't be happening, the more it lingers because it just wants to be seen. It
Mhm.
wants it wants to come out of the body. It wants to just and in this avatar suit and feel that sensation, even though it feels like shit in the moment, it doesn't last.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, it
so
integrates. It's whole. What's separating is resisting it, and
absolutely.
yeah.
And I don't even there's no memory of what it was or why it was. Whereas before there was so much attention on the interpretation and memory of it. So that seems
Yeah,
something happening.
that's beautiful. Yeah, when I was like a samurai with it, like very vigilant with the mind. I was not gonna let any of these scams, distract me or take me over anymore. So yeah, I didn't care if I was checking out at the grocery store, if I was literally checking out and a limited belief came up and the resistance was felt right there in that moment. I would close my eyes and be aware of the sensation, feel it fully, make love to it, be it without resistance, and then watch it dissolve within me. Like right away, right away, right away. I was very vigilant with it and it just integrated, and just dissolved. And then none of those come back up anymore. And then the thoughts are quiet and then everything's in the flow because there's no resistance. But it took a while. And when it was, even when sadness and all those things were welcome, it's like you can be here anytime. Like there's no separation. Then it stopped coming up, and it was so funny because there was a situation that happened that I was completely neutral to, that back in the day I would have been crying or sad about. And there was this urge I was like, why am I not crying? Why am I not reacting to this? It was just neutral. And then I even tried to cry. I tried to have, but it was so funny because it's all allowed to be. And so then it's free, It's like,
Yeah, I
it's
can remember
beautiful.
in the beginning, I remember I was reading a book. I was reading one of Angelo's book because I wanted to be awakened and I wanted to be enlightened. And I remember one of the things he used to say is his partner would say, "Who am I? Who am I? Who am I?" So I was like, "Okay, I'm going to do this for 3 months. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I?" Nothing came.
That's
Now, when I look
painful.
back, that was the answer. But what I
Yeah.
realized after, what I realized is that it wasn't who I am, it's what I'm not. That became
Hmm.
so like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
what does that mean? Who am I? There's nothing. There's no response. There's that void, that emptiness.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's it.
What's an
That's
eye?
it. No
Like,
mind. Yeah, there you go.
it's an eye.
Let me ask a question, sort of. And as everyone would say, if you resist it, it's going to persist, whatever's going on, dear, as you pointed out. But let's take the opposite. If we have a feeling and we're grasping at it, is that any better than, isn't that sort of the other side of the coin? But grasping at, let's say, happiness, doesn't that also paradoxically set us up for a kind of suffering because then we're
Hmm.
grasping and
Yeah.
and so if I'm going through a bad feeling or whatever, and I go, yeah, if I'm resisting it, it's going to persist. That sounds, yep, that's the way it works. But then doesn't it kind of say I would prefer to be happy? And I know pragmatically we all kind of would say we prefer happiness or whatever. But if we grasp at that state, in a way, isn't that back in the same kind
Hmm.
of hole that
Yeah.
we're in before? Because then happiness becomes better than whatever
And then
the
there's
other.
resistance. Again, I
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
equally as vigilant with that as well. I was
yeah,
on
yeah.
top of all of it. And so then I would be aware of that sensation without thought and neutralize it. So that's the neutralizer. It's like a dumpster fire for everything.
That's a very
Yeah.
good point because the equal vigilant, see, we'll
Hmm.
be very vigilant very often when we're feeling like crap.
Hmm.
When we're feeling good, we don't pay attention. We're not vigilant.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm all happy, so it's good. But that vigilance, in a sense, I think in a way equalizes everything.
Yeah.
There's
It balances the
quality to it.
pendulum. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's peacefulness in pain, and that could be there or shows up, and there's peacefulness in happiness, and there's sort of that equanimity or neutrality in a sense. Yet outwardly, it looks like preferences, but both of them, neither pushing it away or grasping,
Hmm.
important. So
Totally.
the vigilance is really important on an equal basis because
Hmm.
you can get trapped on either side of this or the me or whatever that would.
Totally. Yeah. I was on top of all that stuff. Yeah. Even when the partner was being all lovey-dovey and everything, it's like that shit's temporary. Like none of that is reliable. You know,
Doesn't
what's
last.
always permanent? What's always
Yeah, yeah.
unchanging? That's that's what we are. And
Yeah.
Well, that was the relief too, is seeing that it's not going to last, and that
hmm.
it's okay that I'm feeling shitty or annoyed, or there's a part of
Hmm.
my body that doesn't want to communicate or talk, and
Hmm.
many moments of that. And so then all of a sudden now happiness is like, okay, whatever. If it's here, it's great. If it's not, so there's a
Yeah.
relief in all of that.
Everything's
Hmm.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
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 Cool, we're
Okay.
happy.
Like Indira says,
Rest.
okayness.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a baby that there's no Velcro, there's no holding on to, there's just um just awareness, and there's just flow, and when there's no resistance, it's like the wu wei, it just flows. It's like tubing down a river without trying to swim upstream.
Yeah.
I like what you said, Casey. Everything is okay. It's not okay versus non-okay, that opposite, but there's kind of an okayness just as it is.
Hmm.
Not
Hmm.
and yeah, the mind will say, well, yeah, that's okay and that's not okay. But there's an okayness because that's what showed up or that's what appears.
Yeah.
You're mentioning
It,
that coin, you have two
mhm.
sides of the coin. Well, both sides are pointing away from now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're all both avoiding now. It's
And it
not good
feels,
enough now, or right now is terrible. I want to avoid now for a different.
Hmm.
It's
Or you
always
could say
now.
the two sides of the coin are the same exact thing. They
It's the
Yeah.
just
same
appear
thing. It's
they
always
just
now.
appear as
Just stop
opposites.
avoiding now. Just
It's the one appearing as two.
Yeah.
Yeah. One's looking to the past to define itself, and one's looking to the future to define itself by. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing that can be overlooked is, Harvey, when you said the mind,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
That implies it's not you.
hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, you can only know what you're not. You can only be what you are. And
It
it's so
also,
funny how the mind, um, it just you can't work it out with the mind. It'll be a Groundhog's Day situation.
Well, is there even a mind?
Exactly.
it also feels guiltless. I was just sharing with someone yesterday. There's like if there's guiltlessness, in every action that the body does or the emotion that comes up. Whereas there was this identification with the thought that would say, well, you shouldn't feel that way. But now I don't really hear that in the background anymore. It's just full
Hmm.
on anger, full on sadness, full on happiness, full on whatever that comes up
Hmm.
without guilt.
Exactly. When there's no separation, there's actually no obligation because there is no other.
Hmm.
And so there's like pure uninhibited authenticity, and even the dream character flourishes or blossoms. There's no filter or identity or ownership of anything.
So in a way, we can use your analogy, Jenny. The mind, we could say, is the VR headset. So
Hmm.
Yeah.
it's the prism. You're the white light. I'm just using an analogy.
Yeah.
And as the white light goes through the prism of mind,
Hmm.
it creates multiplicity.
Hmm.
Oh,
But
I like that.
it's still always just what it started as. The
Yeah.
breaking into separate parts is the illusion.
Hmm.
It filters everything through its own programming. And when I'm looking at something, I can be dispassionate in a way, but there's also I like contentment. I could just be content with what's here now
Hmm.
and then kind of notice the awareness, not judging or
Hmm.
judging,
Yeah.
not judging or judging. And so from that standpoint, there's a noticing there that's happening. And they could notice that, oh, my way is a judger. And the awareness is just kind of like like the VR or like a camera, just looking, just seeing what's already perfect the way it is.
Hmm.
And it doesn't need anything to be fixed. That's the hard thing to get because the judger is always looking around and say, "Oh, look at that! They're not paying attention to me. What's going on?" All the
Hmm.
crazy stuff that goes on within my own head.
Yeah. I just feel like there's a subtlety here, Manny, that can often be missed. And that is, there can often be this feeling of, I need to stop my mind. It's driving me crazy. It's
Yeah,
causing me to be depressed. It's making me feel separate, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not about, it's seeing that you never were the mind.
yeah.
When you were 1 day old, you didn't have a mind.
Hmm.
The mind was never you, ever.
Hmm.
What a relief.
Yeah. But that's how you use the mind as a tool to recognize that you are the no mind without quality, infinite, and formless. So by projecting yourself as, so that you could perceive that and conceptualize, and so it's all, you know, because how else could, as singularity, how else can you experience yourself? You're singular. So it makes sense to me that you would project the mind to recognize yourself as formless and infinite. And then you can, you know, experience yourself as that, you know, and then there's, even the body is formless. Even the, you know, there is no form. And so then you're, you know, unfurling into your infinite mind, into your infinite being that's invulnerable and invincible.
If we look at, I want to take what Manny just said before, because if this is just the way I might look at it, but if I say there is no mind, or I'm the you, or whatever I call it, is not the mind, but in a way, there's that realization that what you call the mind is a lot of conditioning and programming and you know, all those kinds of things. And so once there's a realization that there never was a mind as a separate object, then the question, it just falls away, that there's no longer it's just seeing that the belief that there was a mind is the problem, but there is no mind. So once it's seen as just a lot of conditioning taking place, which is also just what's unfolding as well, because that's fully included, then the whole question of me and the mind sort of dissolves, because there never was a mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, if there never was a mind, there never was a you.
Yeah,
That's
what's me
correct.
without a mind?
Absolutely right.
To define that.
And so the problems just kind of dissolve, because it's really it's not so much about getting rid of the mind or stopping the mind. It's the notion that there was a mind to be gotten rid of. And that
Exactly.
becomes the problem.
Exactly.
Well
Which
said.
the same goes for when you realize there is no body to heal. The body heals because there is no body to heal. That was something that happened right away, right when I recognized, right when consciousness recognized itself. The one wearing the headset recognized itself as not the avatar in the headset. The body instantly healed because there was no body to heal. And so all of the ailments that I thought the body had was just a belief that was being projected in the headset, you know, but then when it was seen for what it is, then there is no body. There is no world to change. There is no one to convince because you don't need to convince yourself anymore.
No more
The
game.
body is like, it's like the projected haptic suit that comes along with the VR headset. It's, you know, it's like if you've got real VR, a really good suit, you've got to have a haptic suit so you can feel it all. It's like, yeah, that's already here. This
Yeah.
is this haptic suit, you know. When you said no obligation, there was it just immediately the thought was no liability, meaning no ability to lie,
Oh, I
but
like that.
only responsibility, meaning there's still the ability to respond. And it was just like,
Nice.
oh, that's so cool.
Heck yeah,
No
I like
ability to
that.
lie anymore, you know. And
Yeah.
that takes the obligation away, because that sense of, oh, I gotta tell you, you know, I need to do this. I need to explain because you
Mm-hmm.
can't feel me, you can't understand me. And it's like, no, I can. I don't need words. I don't
Yeah.
need that,
And,
you know.
yeah. And then you realize it's all you, just like the dream at
Yeah.
night when you wake up from the dream and you realize, oh, wow, there weren't separate characters that I was interacting with. That was all my mind. It was a projection of my consciousness. It was just me. And so then it's like, yeah, there is no other to change or to convince or, yeah.
that's yeah. I mean, this week was trippy for me because all it's like every time I kind of settled on a word, it was like, that's a word, as in that's just emptiness. Of course it
Mm-hmm.
is. You know? And then it was like, there's no such thing as pointings. That's just another word. It's just emptiness, you know. And there was just this.
Mm-hmm.
It just kept. I mean, yeah. Again, I can only use words in a way, but it was just always folding in on itself, or I was just
Mm-hmm.
folding in on myself, and it's like, no, not that. No, it's not.
Beautiful.
It
Mm-hmm.
can't be that. It's just, and because I've had all these moments where it's just, you just sit and then there's suddenly, wow, there's nothing there. No identity, no being, no, it's like there's nothing there. Or, and then it's, this is existence. I'm this.
Mm-hmm.
And yet even that's too far. It's amazing. Like, there's no one to go anywhere, nowhere to go. These words are fantastic. Talk about
Mm-hmm.
double-edged sword, die on them or be liberated by them. It's just,
Yeah,
yeah.
when you investigate, it's inevitable. You figure it out.
And that
I'm
was
glad
another
you
thing.
meant. Go ahead, Andrew. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. When you were talking, what came to my mind was drugs in the past. And
Yeah.
what's great is it's like, wow, I have no desire like I did before. I can remember this desire to do ayahuasca because I got to find this higher power and find out my soul purpose and who am I, and all of that has just like, because this is beautiful right now. This, just looking out the window at the trees, and just, the Taj Mahal is right here in this apartment. There's no,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing too is what is over there. Like when I can see objects, I don't see any boundaries with them. It's as
Mm-hmm.
if everything is right here and it's natural. It's not. It's sober.
Yeah.
And like I
Yeah.
like what you said, Paul, because it can feel kind of trippy sometimes. Because sometimes I was at the doctor's office yesterday and the woman was talking to me, and all of a sudden my peripheral vision was like this, and I was hearing her, but then all of a sudden all my attention went into the colors, and it was like, wow, everything is right here. Like the walls are right here. She's
Mm-hmm.
there. And I couldn't really pay attention to what she was saying.
That's awesome.
Times they're just experiences, right? But I don't feel that need to want to do ayahuasca or any of those drugs anymore. It's because it was
Mm-hmm.
necessary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did ayahuasca 10, 11 times. I did it twice in Vienna with some psychotherapy. They were ayahuasqueros that had trained to be psychotherapists. They'd each done their ayahuasca 80 times to be ready and prepared to
Oh
do
my
it for
God.
people. And we had this, yeah, this incredible weekend. And you come away and it's like, La Medicina, she's told me I'm going to work with her, and all these wonderful things. But I investigated, bought the botanicals, brewed it myself, and I did like 9 journeys on my own in the dark. And I can tell you 2 of those were horrific. I literally thought I killed people. It was just like brutal, really brutal. And yeah, there's a point when you go, what
That's
is
just
that?
all imagination. Yeah.
What is?
And that
Yeah,
fun.
I mean, just pure fantasy, and it's
It is.
amazing,
Yeah.
just incredible.
It's
Yeah.
funny. The one time I did it, it was after awakening. So I was just doing it for fun. And so everyone was like, you got to find out what grandma tells you, what grandmother's going to tell you. She's going to have a message for you. You're going to be doing deep shadow work. You're going to be purging. You're going to be screaming and throwing up. I was cracking up laughing to where I couldn't breathe and I was about to pee in my pants for 8 hours while people were screaming and puking and having a nightmare. And I was like, the next morning when everyone was telling, what did grandma tell you? I was like, there's nothing to fucking do. There's nothing to fucking do.
Yeah.
But it was like there was even that feeling where I wanted to go hug people like and tell them none of this is really happening. Like this is just a dream. Like this is playful.
I also felt that was, when I look back, it was just another distraction from here.
Mm-hmm.
Also have been, as you would call a VR headset, looking into ayahuasca or whatever, consciousness projecting itself into. But really, you get off of it and you come home and you deal with your day-to-day life, your fear.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do about that? So now it's like feeling it, this
Mm-hmm.
this journey isn't may not be for everyone because I don't know, for me, I thought, or I was identified with that belief that once this was seen, then everything was going to be perfect and blissful. But it's not like that at all. It's just dealing with, one moment at a time, one feeling at a time, and emotions that come up. And I just feel like I've become like a big old mother to all of
Mm-hmm.
that arise,
Yeah.
and so
Radiant parent.
yeah.
Oh, I love that you said that. It's like I say that a lot where it's like you're a mother, an unconditionally loving mother that allows their kids to fuck up, but still loves them. So, so with the thoughts and everything, it's just.
I think for me there was a huge relief that my humanity remains. It's like I'm so relieved that I can get pissed off at bad drivers, or I can have these experiences where there's thoughts really looking hard to work out why there's a sensation in the body that's there, and it's like that's so funny. You want an explanation for something that
Hmm.
you're causing. It's like, yeah, there's just that. Yeah, because I think for a long time I went through this. I want to be a saint. That's the only way. You've got to be a saint. You got to eat this, dress this way. You have to do all these
That's another
things.
scam. That's
Yeah,
another scam.
totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the sin. It's not the behavior, it's identifying with the
So,
as the behaviors being bad.
yeah, yeah. No. And it's like,
Harvey, were you about to say something, Harvey?
oh,
Oh,
sorry.
well, I just sort of going to say what Indira was saying about um, not looking to use drugs or to go back to a state, because I remember once when, after a tripping on acid, and I realized after I came down, the laundry wasn't done. The refrigerator had an empty can of and a can of tuna fish, and all that was left was to eat the bulbs. That was about all dinner could be, and then the shopping didn't get done, and so the realization that all of a sudden, to grasp at, oh, I need to repeat that state or get back to it, but meanwhile the laundry was still there, and that was just as important as the trip.
Oh yeah.
And then all of a sudden the realization that there wasn't the need to get back to a state. It's just, here's what's here. Still have to do the laundry. And that becomes important, because it becomes important, a realization that once we set up as this is better than that, then other things that maybe need to get done don't get done.
Hmm. I
So
like
just
that. Yeah.
and and one other thing, I think what Paul was saying about a pointer, or I we often use the word, hey, this is just a pointer. It's like, don't get stuck at the finger pointing to the moon, which is a cliche. And often we try to, there's real value in that statement because people often get hooked onto the finger rather than the moon. But there's a deeper way of looking at it too. The pointer is just as valuable as the moon. It's no different. It's not as if the pointer is lesser than the moon. The pointer is still just is, as the
Hmm.
moon just is. And but it reminded me when you said that about using the word pointer, because there is no real pointing to, because that assumes something other than or elsewhere. So yes, on one level, it's a valuable linguistic thing to say, hey, don't get stuck in the finger. But the
Hmm.
finger, if we want to call it that, is just as significant as what we were claiming it was pointing to, because actually it wasn't pointing to, it was just what it was.
Hmm.
Yeah, what I hear, Harvey, is the wave pointing at the ocean is the ocean.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Hmm.
That's perfect because because it is the ocean. So it was
Yeah.
already done. It's already done.
Yeah.
And so looking at the wave, looking at the ocean, all the same.
Yeah, I like that.
The wave gets bored with being a wave, and it comes up and springs up a little thought and says, "This isn't good enough.
Yeah.
I'm not okay right now. I got to find some thrill." And off I go. And to have an experience, it reaches its peak and then comes back down. And I open the fridge and there's an empty can of tuna. Yeah.
Is there anyone that hasn't shared that like to share something?
Yeah, I'd like to share a little bit.
Hey, Mark.
Hi. It's beautiful to watch and kind of let's sink in all of what your being is pointing. I mean, you're just being and discussing is pointing. And my struggle, well, I don't know if it's a struggle, it's just it's something to bring up is so this idea of there's nothing to do that hits me, but then there's this waiting. If you can address somebody can address the waiting, and I know it's like, well, who's waiting? Who's there that's waiting? But I've done that a lot of that work with LU, the Liberated
Yeah.
Unleashed. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
I have no, I don't know, I have nowhere to go. I don't.
yeah, let's do it. I'm down for the dance. So what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I've had these experiences. I'm one of those had it, lost it. I
Mm.
was 28. I had no idea what it was. I had my tonsils out, but I mean, it was unbelievable. It wasn't bliss. I just wasn't attached to anything,
Mm.
and it was incredible. And I always wondered if I had a teacher to tell me what it was and how to stay there, if it would have hung on. But I didn't even want it because the message was, your struggle's over. You don't have to do anything. Yet I've always wanted to be a musician. I mean, since I was 5. So, and it knew that, so I had to do that. Um, but then it all crashed, and I found teachers, and this is where I was supposed to be, I guess. And um, so what am I? Yeah, what all I can do is like go back to that okayness, because that's what it was. It was this okayness. And speaking of medicine journeys, I found that okayness in the MDMA one-on-one sessions I had. It was just so okay.
Hmm.
Just like good to go. Okay, everything's fine. I mean, and so that's all I'm asking for is just okay.
Okay. So the waiting is this too. It's not you. The waiting is the mind. The mind is waiting for that special magical moment, but not really. See, the mind pretends like it wants to awaken. It doesn't want to die. The ego
Yeah.
does not want to give itself up. It never will. It's not going to make the divorce. It's up to you to see clearly that you've never been a single thought.
Mhm. Wow. Yeah, I would say vigilantly be aware of those thoughts without thought. Just be aware right away because you can't work out a thought with another thought. It's just like a downward spiral. It just
Yeah.
it'll be an unending search. You have
Yes.
to just, because that which is aware of the search is what's being searched for.
Mhm.
So it's like wearing the VR headset. You already are what you're looking for. You're
Mhm.
the one that's experiencing this, that's knowing this, that's aware of this, giving rise to what's appearing. So then, like wearing the VR headset, you're already the one wearing the headset, looking for yourself in the headset, and by the belief, which is just the mind, just a thought, I need to find this, or what was it that you said? I'm
waiting.
waiting.
There's a
So then,
there is a
you're,
waiting.
so your awareness, aware of the idea, I'm waiting,
Mhm.
which projects in the VR headset, I'm waiting, which will just keep projecting it the more you pay attention to that until you turn around and look at what's looking, look at, be aware without thought, and then
Yeah.
it just dissolves.
Mark, I would say, are you waiting or is the mind waiting?
That's what I'm
Mhm.
right there edging it, It's like I what I just said, it's like it's waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
That's where I am.
Yeah, no, I went to LU too. I went to it for about 2 months, so I'm very familiar with it. And that was when the crack of the egg opened up. But just you saying, I'm waiting, if I was typing that out, I'm waiting, I can already see, oh my God, that's just a thought. Like, who the hell is
Mhm.
waiting?
Mhm.
When you say, when I write, I'm waiting, it's just a thought. But what's really happening is there's typing. There's typing, there's sitting, there's the head nodding.
Mhm.
If you look around your apartment or where you're at, just look without labeling it. This is it right here. Just you doing that is it. Without, what would you be without that thought?
Right.
And the mind doesn't like that because it wants to, well, it'll say, well, I'll be this and I'll be that, but that's a thought.
Mhm.
Look at I'm waiting and really look at that thought. I'm waiting. What is behind? I'm closing my eyes and I'm looking at that thought. I'm waiting. When I really look, I see absolutely nothing. And then I realize, oh, it's just a thought.
Mhm.
And it's so subtle. And when I notice that, there's like this subtle quietness, and this is it right here.
Mhm.
It's right
Yeah,
here.
it dissolves. When you're
Yeah.
aware of it, it dissolves. You can
Mark, can I
ask what's
just
aware of it. Hmm?
yeah, I was just going to say, Mark, if you look at the it's waiting, that's a responsibility. That's the ability to respond to something that's already present in the body. There's already sensing there, and then I'm waiting is the response that the mind is saying that's what's going on. So there's already an experience, not an experience, but there's already sensory feedback, and then the narration of I'm or it's waiting isn't separate from it.
Mhm.
It's part of it, but it seems to appear in a way to describe something that's being missed. So if you can look to see what's going on there, or even look to see what is the difference between it's waiting and it's not waiting. Try and find a difference. See if you can find separation.
Yeah. Also, I find, Mark, so let's say, go ahead and repeat the thought, I'm waiting.
I'm waiting.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything.
You see, but the okay is not going to war with it. It's a neutrality. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Right. Right. I felt that. I felt that doesn't mean anything.
What if you had just switched from I am waiting to there is waiting?
Well, that's what I was saying. I'd say it's waiting.
Yeah. But see, the it might sort of imply something like an it or whatever, an entity or whatever. It
Right, there's
reifies it.
there's
But let's
waiting.
just say there
Yeah.
is waiting. There
There's
is
waiting.
a dog. There is dog barking. There is,
Yeah.
and so it just gets now. That's still a thought, but it sort of takes away the claiming of it or the ownership. There is
Mm-hmm.
waiting.
Yeah. I'm good
There
with
is
it. Yeah.
air
It's
conditioning
impersonal.
running. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that becomes, in a way, it equalizes to anything else. There is thirst. There is an itch. It takes away the ownership or the claim that it belongs to me. It's just another possible
It's
approach.
good. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
Go
Who
ahead.
was? Oh, yeah. Just like that, the illusion can't hold up to awareness because awareness precedes it or is projecting itself as that to experience itself. So it's prior to. So when you're aware, when next time that comes up, try it. Like when there's that thought, I'm waiting, and then that yearning or that sensation of discomfort of this, like I need something else, you just be aware of that without thought and watch it dissolve. And it stops coming up, and then it won't mess with you anymore. What you resist persists. So if you keep resisting it, it'll keep coming up, and then you'll be in a waiting room for however long.
That's
Because
what it
like
feels
being
like.
aware, yeah, like being awareness wearing the headset, your awareness, omnipotence, giving rise to. So like if there's the thought, I'm waiting, awareness is giving rise to that thought, illuminating it, making it appear to exist. In awareness is unaffected. It's not waiting for anything. It's aware of this sensation, and then this sensation gets elicited. Consciousness, feels the sensation, just like when you're wearing a VR headset. You're not on the roller coaster, but there's dizziness and all of these feelings. So you can easily turn around and look at what's wearing the headset. Like, what is experiencing this sensation?
Mm.
And that's God looking at itself.
Mm.
And then you realize, oh, I'm not that thought. I'm not that body. Like when you really investigate what is this experience, like it dissolves every time.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah.
Yay.
Mhm.
Yeah. I found that the seeker is constantly waiting. This,
Yeah.
and then when it has an experience, a glimpse or whatever, oh, that's it. And I put high value on that, and I want to get back to it. That's what Mark is a drummer, looks like. And that's what I used to do for a number of
Yeah.
years, starting
Yeah.
at 7 also.
Yeah.
And those experiences are known by the awareness that's noticing them.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
was, yeah.
and the other thing is that that experience is like a firefly. It's
Hmm.
bright, and
Yeah.
then it's boom, and then
Yeah.
I want it more. I'm waiting for it to happen again. All that's kind of crazy stuff. And
I
after
remember,
years, you give up.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I remember in some of the medicine journeys I had, huge heart openings. I mean, beyond
Yeah.
capacity. But I was never fooled. I was like, oh, this is just an experience. It's gonna go away. And I just enjoy it. Just enjoy what you've got right in the experience. So I've always been aware wherever I'm at of what's going on, and uh, thankfully, because I never thought like, oh, this is it or that's it.
Hmm.
Because when I had the experience of it being it, I was in it. I was in it, and there was no over there, or I was there. So I
Mhm.
had the taste
Yeah.
of that. Yeah.
Whenever I had that experience, I wasn't in it. There was just life happening.
But yeah, exactly. Right. That it's
Yeah.
hard to put in words.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Love that. I love that, Manny. God, that's so freeing.
Hmm.
Wasn't in that, but it was just experiencing happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yummy. Mm.
That's right now. The pathless path is simply being.
Hmm.
There is no path. If there's a path, it's just awareness aware of the concept of a path.
And then everything becomes okay. Like in this moment, there's
Yeah.
no burning bush, and it's okay.
Hmm.
I walk to the refrigerator, it's okay. When I
Mm.
use the bathroom, it's okay. If at a mystical experience happened, great. But there's no more like, oh, I got to get that anymore. It's just,
Hmm.
it's okay. Like everything is okay.
Even at that time, the investigation or the inquiry also drops away.
Yeah.
Because even the inquiry of what it is or what
Hmm.
does it mean, all of that is also sort of I'd say a moving away. It it's like a breeze going through the tree. We could say Is it awareness? Is it not? No, it just breathes. And then right there, that's the so-called doing nothing. Because there's nothing to do. It's just what it is. So totally, nothing else needs to be said or done.
Yeah. Beautiful.
It's a
Yeah.
yeah, a delicious taste of reality for no one.
Well, even right now, with your eyes open, look at the screen without a memory or a thought. There's no distinguishing, there's no separation. There's no no labeling it, but coming back in to label it, just pure beingness, pure consciousness.
It's like you're looking at yourself through the objects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that Leela says a lot is that this is not what you imagine. This is not what you imagine. And it's so true. You can't imagine the ordinariness of this. Just these words are it.
Mhm.
It's always right here. It's always so simple. It's not complicated. And the mind likes to keep it complicated. It's a journey. I have to get there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the word already spoke here to
Mm-hmm.
already. It is already what you're looking for. So to me, already is a noticing. It's not a doing or a seeking.
Mm-hmm.
Once I got away from the expectation of the mind, because I remember Angelo saying it's not what you expected. And I remember him saying what you're saying, Michael, it's ordinary. But I was fighting. There seemed to be a fighting between the attention was identified with, yeah, but, but once I was able to sit and write like I did in LU, there was this opening. There was just a little crack of an opening. And it was like, bam, right here. My the curtains right here, breathing, the colors, this is it right here. Ordinary.
Mm-hmm.
I
Beautiful.
was shocked and relieved at the same time.
Yeah, we can say extraordinarily ordinary.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Any last comments or questions before we close out today?
Can I express an experience of where I'm at today? Consciousness projects, and it is projected through my avatar, Cancer. So it is also projected that I am now living out of my car. So when I see consciousness doing its thing to have experiences, I just accept it. However, when I contemplate on this, I see that there's more behind consciousness. So to get beyond consciousness would be the nothing, the no thing. The avatar would just automatically heal because it doesn't even exist because of the projection that consciousness is flowing to. And I kind of get tangled up in there based on
Okay.
what's happening.
Yeah, understandable. First of all, I'm sorry for your hardships living in the car and the
Well,
kids.
the funny thing is, people say sorry, but I'm not seeing this as a hardship at all. It's an
Beautiful.
enormous opportunity to expand.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So let me ask you, Laura, what is speaking right now?
Well, that's where I jump into duality.
Well,
Sometimes my heart pounds, and when my heart pounds when I'm speaking, it goes into the mind and it goes, okay, flow free with the heart. Flow free, breathe here, and just let it be, let consciousness be.
yeah. So let's just drop the story.
Oh, that was a story. know. So thank you. Huh. Well, it would have to be the essence of be, because once it starts speaking, it's no longer the essence of be. I don't know how to.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to pin it down.
Okay.
This is unpin it downable.
Okay.
And that's all the mind's trying to do is box it and pin it down and label it, and it will never happen.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so back to what I was saying earlier, it's too easy. It's like the dumpster fire for everything. Just being aware of it without thought just completely neutralizes everything. And then there's no resistance to it. And then you'll see how it's all working itself out. And then something else appears, an opportunity, or it just expands. And then
Yeah.
but you are limitless. Anything can be healed. Anything can be, I mean, you're infinite. So you're never doomed. And feel free to call me, Laura. I talk a lot about the body and the healing of that and the transmutation of stuff. So
Yeah.
I respect your need to also make an income, and because my income is super limited right now, I don't do that.
No, I'm
Don't
saying
worry.
just call me for free. I'm just saying give me a call. My number's on my my everywhere. I have it on my YouTube and my website phone number.
Thank you for the gift.
Thank you.
Laura.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you, everybody. To each and every one of you. We so love and appreciate everyone. Thank you for coming today. It was a pleasure. Mwah.
Thank you.
Thank
Big
you.
hugs, everybody.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Mwah.
Have a good
Bye.
weekend. Mhm.